So for the past couple of days, I had a chance to hop onto Duet Night Abyss Closed Beta 2, spend a bit of time and have my own experience with the game. Now I just have to say I thoroughly enjoyed it, and honestly there are things in Duet Night Abyss that they absolutely did differently, which actually brings a little bit of fresh air to the so many gacha games that we have been playing across the board for the past few years. And so in this video we'll go through a bit of my experience and sharing my thoughts on some of the new refreshing things that actually it's experienced in Duet Night Abyss. Now do note that this is only the second closed beta, so anything that is mentioned here in this video may be improved upon the final release, so do keep that in mind. Now jumping into Duet Night Abyss, obviously there is the part of the story, and I won't go through the story a lot because first of all I haven't been able to experience everything, and also I don't really want to spoil you any part of the story either. But the interesting thing is that even though as usual we do have the choice of choosing between the male and female character, however in DNA the two main characters, female and male, actually have different story paths. I don't know if they were intertwined later on, but currently from what we did experience in the beta, choosing between either will lead you to a different part of the starting story, which is something that I really do enjoy. The fact that you do get to experience two perspectives individually of the two main characters will definitely prompt replayability. It's time to move into the battle mechanic of the game. Each character can swap between melee and ranged weapons. However, in DNA, the character of your choice isn't actually stuck in just a single weapon type, and you can technically slot them into any kind of weapons that you would like them to have, though of course certain character would definitely work better with a certain weapon depending on their stats. What I find interesting about this is that you can technically spam your ability as long as you have enough energy bars. So the energy bar is like the bar that at bottom of the character stat here, and there's technically no cooldown even with your skills, or you know what you call character ultimates in other games. You can spam them as long as you have energy, which is where there's going to be a bit of a mix and match between your melee attack and your skill, and of course other ranged weapon as well, and your battle can be a bit hectic at times, and that's where the fun of DNA battle comes in. Now there's another part of the battle that is a bit surprising to me, is that when you start off the game, I was really surprised at how much enemies that was actually available on screen. As usually in other games there is just like a couple, like you know, it's just like a group of enemies where there's only like 6 enemies, but in DNA there's like dozens of them just swamping towards you. It was a little bit overwhelming at first, but considering the fact that you can actually spam, and that's probably where the reason why you can actually spam your skill is that to also deal with many of the enemies at once, and that's actually pretty nice because it does give you a little bit of the realistic when it comes to battling in a group situation, as yes, most likely in real-time cases there are a lot of enemies that just constantly be swamping at you. And other than that, DNA does not actually rely on swamping quickly between your team characters, and it's more like you're going to be having one single main character available where you are going to be controlling them, and the other character that you summon onto the field, they are just going to be doing their own kind of things, which is kind of nice if you are somebody who love just focusing on having one character kind of max out, playing around with them, and then having your other character doing their own thing, which is something I find refreshing compared to the quick swapping of characters in other games. Now beside the weapons, the main equipment of DNA is something that you call demon wedges, and these things does not only impact your stats, but they can also affect things like how big your character attacks are going to be, or how quickly you can fire your guns. But the best of all is that you are actually freed from the RNG substats that usually is present in other games. Now there is going to be loadout for you to set up your equipment, so you can have the freedom to experiment with many different kind of builds for the character that you want to build with, while just of course having the equipment loadout to help you quickly switch. Coming into exploration, DNA exploration can be a little bit different, and this is where I find it quite refreshing, is that while yes of course you can have normal walk around and running, however the game doesn't technically have the sprint button, but more or less you're going to be sliding, and there's going to be like a special diving animation, or the game call it the Helix Leap animation, where you're practically going to be spamming this Helix Leap animation almost 100% of the time because it's just help you to traverse so fast, and it feels as if you're literally flying across the air. Other than that, climbing is not technically present in the game, where you don't just go to a wall and then your character just stick their hand and start climbing. There is a different way for you to climb. It's just that how climbing works is a little bit different from other games. And the thing that actually surprised me quite a bit is that currently I don't think there's the ability for you to actually swim, because whenever you hit the surface of the water, you are immediately teleported back, which is a bit weird to me. I tried it multiple times. There aren't any place I can actually swim just yet. So I don't actually know the whole intention behind this. Is it more or less going to be making it a bit more of a challenge whenever you are traversing between the different places across the world, or the character in DNA just literally can't swim? Which leads us to the part where we talk about the gacha system, which is, while it is a gacha game, however, the important thing about DNA gacha system is that, well, first of all, whenever you start out, there is going to be the 6 standard banner character. That is, whenever you hit around a 40 pulls, you are guaranteed on that character. However, the limited banners are where it gets interesting, because the very first copy of any limited character is going to be 100% guaranteed. There is no 50-50 unless you want multiple copies of those characters. Weapon banners are also guaranteed for you. However, you can also craft 5-star weapon as well, and eventually maxing them out just by playing through the game. Now, I haven't actually gotten to the very end of the closed beta yet to experience this feature enough, but just the fact that we hear that we can actually craft the 5-star weapon themselves just goes to show how much of a free-to-play kind of game DNA can be. Other than that, interestingly, the game also have access to Cosmetic and Dying system, which, yes, you can go ahead and put a bit of different kind of outfit for your character, and on top of that, you can have different color options for your characters as well. It's very rare that we actually have a game that allows us to do this, and I'm pretty sure as long as you play the game, you will be able to get these material and have these dyeing options. I don't know later on if there will be kind of like buy outfit, but I'm pretty sure this is a feature that you get for free in the game, which is something that basically most of the other games are just going to be charging you quite a lot just to have kind of like a different outfit for your character, which is really nice from DNA. I really love that, because whenever I have my favorite character, I really would love to touch them up, have a different kind of color setting for my characters, just so that I can enjoy them a lot more. And then there's another thing that really did surprise me is regarding kind of like a morality system, or the dice rolling system that is present across the story, or the side quests in the game. For how it works is that whenever you're progressing to the main story, the side quests, you are regularly prompted to give certain response, and depending on the answers that you actually give, it will raise a random stat of your character. Now, the important thing is that sometimes for the side quests, you need to clear the dice roll in order for you to progress, and obviously they would take these stats into consideration in order for you to get a successful roll or not. I always love to get this kind of a bit of system, because while one thing, it is kind of like a gacha game, but it really does allow you to have an impact depending on which kind of answers that you choose, unlike many other games where it obviously doesn't matter which kind of response you choose. Maybe they will prompt a different kind of answer toward your characters, but here it does have an impact, which is something I really love. So those, I would say, guys, are some really refreshing things that I found when playing through Duet Night Abyss. Obviously, the game is only in closed beta. Hopefully after this they will make the game into even better final product, so that we can all experience some things that have been really nice in the closed beta. So if you find DNA to be interesting, guys, don't forget to check out the link to the pre-registered website below, as whenever we hit a certain milestone for the pre-registration, we do get really nice rewards. I hope the video have been enjoyable for you. With that, I wish you a super day, and I'll catch you on my next video.